A simple food that changed everything. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine holding a warm piece of bread in your hands. It's simple, it's familiar. You may eat it without thinking twice. Bread is not just something we eat, it is something that built civilizations. For more than 30,000 years, bread has been part of the human journey. Long before kings ruled empires, long before cities had names, humans were already grinding grains, mixing water, and placing dough near fire. This is the story of how bread shaped the world. The first grains, tens of thousands of years ago, humans were still hunters and gatherers. They followed animals, collected wild plants, and survived day by day. But slowly, something changed. People began to notice that certain grasses produced seeds that could be stored, crushed, and eaten. These seeds, early forms of wheat and barley, were ground into flour using simple stones, mixed with water and cooked on hot rocks. This flour became the earliest form of bread. Flat, dense, and unleavened. It wasn't soft. It wasn't tasty by modern standards. But it was filling and it could feed many. That was enough to change history. Bread and civilization. Around 10,000 years ago, during the Neolithic period, humans began to domesticate plants. This happened independently in different parts of the world. In the Fertile Crescent, wheat and barley were cultivated. In East Asia, rice became the foundation of food. In the Americas, maize was domesticated. In Africa, sorghum fed entire societies. Wherever grain was grown, bread or a bread-like food appeared. And with bread came permanence. People no longer needed to move constantly. They could settle. They could store food. They could grow populations larger than ever before. Bread made cities possible. The Egyptian miracle, leavened bread. Around 3000 BC, something remarkable happened in ancient Egypt. Someone left dough out too long. Wild yeast from the air entered the mixture. The dough rose. It became lighter, airier. The Egyptians had discovered leavened bread. They refined baking into an art. They built ovens. They experimented with fermentation. Bread became more than food, it became culture. Egyptian children were sent to school with bread and beer for lunch. Bread was offered to the gods. Bread was buried with the dead. It was no longer just survival, it was life itself. Bread spreads across the ancient world. In ancient Greece, bakers developed freestanding ovens that could be preheated and sealed. Bread became more diverse: sweet loaves, oil breads, honey cakes, and military rations baked on spits. By the 2nd century BCE, Greek bakers had arrived in Rome. The Romans took bread seriously. They understood its power. Free grain and bread distributions, bread and circuses, kept the population calm. Without bread, Rome feared riots. Bread wasn't just food, it was political stability. Medieval bread, rich and poor. In medieval Europe, bread remained the foundation of every meal. But not all bread was equal. The rich ate white bread, made from finely sifted flour. The poor ate dark bread, heavy with bran and whole grains. Bread even replaced plates. A stale slab of bread called a trencher was placed under meals to absorb sauces. After eating, the trencher was consumed, given to the poor, or fed to animals. Some historians believe this simple bread plate may be the ancestor of pizza. Industry changes everything. With industrialization, bread changed again. Stone mills were replaced with steel rollers. Wine and water power gave way to steam and gas. In 1912, Otto Frederick Rohwedder invented the sliced bread machine. By 1928, sliced bread entered the market. The toaster had already been invented. Bread was faster, cheaper, everywhere. In 1961, the Corley wood bread process shortened fermentation time dramatically. Bread could be made in hours instead of days, but speed came at a cost. Flavor diminished, nutrition declined. Additives replaced patience. Bread today, a global constant. Today, bread is eaten by 60% of the world's population every day. A combine harvester can collect enough wheat for 70 loaves in just 9 seconds. The average American eats 27 kilograms of bread per year. Americans consume the equivalent of 100 acres of pizza every single day. Bread is no longer sacred, but it is still essential. Conclusion: more than food, bread may seem ordinary. But it fed armies, built cities, created empires. It allowed humans to stay in one place long enough to dream, invent, and remember. Every loaf carries the weight of human history. So next time you tear a piece of bread, pause for a moment. You're not just eating food, you're holding civilization in your hands.